Hello you guys, my name is Kyian and welcome back to Kyian by Design, my DIY home and lifestyle channel. And today I'm excited to be bringing you guys along as I transform yet another space in my apartment. My partner Sam and I have lived in this place for a little over a year now and we're pretty settled in. You guys have seen the living room, you've seen me transform the bedroom, and we've really done a good job at making it feel like a home for us. But there's just been this one area of the apartment that has left me feeling uninspired and like it was lacking something, and that is our hallway. Now this hallway is pretty small, so you might think it's silly to be transforming a space like this. Sam certainly thinks so at least. But as the creative person that I am, once I get an idea in my head, I absolutely have to see it through to the end. But before we continue any further, if you have not already, I want to invite you to hit the subscribe button down below and ring the notification bell to be notified every time that I upload, especially if you want to see more DIY and home content like you're about to see. Thank you so much to all of my existing subscribers already. We have recently passed 2,100 subscribers, which is so awesome, and I hope to see so many more of you joining us to create a beautiful life on a budget. So let me give you guys a little bit of a look at this hallway as it is. To the left we have our linen closet, which is covered by two sliding doors. They are just plain and painted white, and it just makes the area feel super blank. This hallway of course connects to our bathroom, which is located at the end, and our bedroom, which is located at the door on the very right. On the right side of the hallway we have this sort of unsightly cabinet door that houses our apartment's AC unit. It's not the most attractive thing, and I did try to bring some sort of color into it by putting this Van Gogh painting on it, but it still just leaves something to be desired. This hallway also serves as an enclosure for our dog Coco when neither of us are home. We normally have a baby gate set up with a camera to watch him from wherever we are. He also has his bed and food and water bowls. So while I do want to get creative in this area, it's important that it both be rental friendly as well as dog safe, because obviously our dog is going to be staying in here for extended periods of time and we don't want anything to hurt him. So here is my plan to give this hallway a little bit of pizzazz. Starting of course with this blank closet door that takes up that entire left wall. I would really love to find a peel and stick wallpaper solution to put up on this door. Something graphic and exciting that complements the rest of the apartment. For the AC cabinet, I really want to turn this door into more of a mirror moment. This I feel will just reflect more light in the space as well as create a great selfie moment. And above that mirror I would love to add a floating shelf for a bit of a decorative moment with some lightweight pieces. With Coco's bed being located directly under this cabinet, I want to make sure that anything that I'm hanging above this area is lightweight so that we don't risk having it fall and hurt him. And this apartment also came pre-installed with some less than desirable light fixtures. Now, I'm not an electrician and I'd like to keep this as budget friendly as possible. I am hoping to come up with a DIY solution that will fit around and cover the existing light fixture that can simply be taken down when we move out. Now that you guys have seen the vision that I have in my head, it's time to bring it to life. Let's go. So the very first step was finding a wallpaper that I thought was going to work for these doors. I searched for peel and stick wallpapers on the internet, but nothing was really catching my eye and I'd have to buy a couple of rolls. So for the prices that I was seeing, it just wasn't going to be feasible until one day I was in my local dollar store and I came across these contact paper rolls. They have this geometric pattern with orange, black, and white triangles. That orange tone ties back into a lot of other stuff in our home. So I had the idea to buy a few rolls of this exact contact paper and see if I could use it as a budget-friendly wallpaper for this closet. Now, since this is dollar store contact paper and I do want to make this renter-friendly, I don't want to risk having it peel off any paint when we're finally deciding to move out. I've seen a few videos on YouTube and TikTok where people take painter's tape and actually use it to cover the surface that they plan to wallpaper before applying the wallpaper on the surface itself. And since painter's tape is meant to stick to surfaces and easily be able to peel off, the wallpaper will then be sticking to the painter's tape rather than the actual door. So I went to my local hardware store and I picked up 2 rolls of painter's tape. I made sure to get the extra wide kind for better coverage of the doors, and I began lining the doors strip by strip, which took quite a while, but patience is all part of the process. once I was done with that, I went around the edges with an X-Acto knife and cut off any excess painter's tape. With our doors lined, it was now time to apply our contact paper / wallpaper. Applying wallpaper is definitely not a one-person job, so I enlisted the help of my partner Sam to help me make sure that the wallpaper was properly lined up. He also helped by pulling back the adhesive backing while I smoothed out the wallpaper with a credit card. You can also use a gift card or a dollar store squeegee just to make sure that there were no air bubbles or wrinkles. Now, these doors are about 8 feet tall, and each roll of the contact paper is only about 1.5 yards long. So once we reach the end of one contact paper roll, we would simply take out a new one and match up the pattern as best as possible before continuing all the way to the bottom. 4 of these contact paper rolls were enough to cover one of these doors, so we in total used about 8 rolls of this contact paper to cover the doors. Applying this wallpaper together took a couple of days and was a bit frustrating, but once it was finally done, it had just the impact that I wanted. There are some wrinkles and imperfections here and there, but with the completed pattern, you can't even notice them. So I call this a win, especially for out-of-the-box thinking. Moving on to turning this AC cabinet into a mirror. Truth be told, this turned out to be much more difficult than applying that wallpaper. So the very first solution that I tried out were these peel and stick mirror tiles that I saw on Amazon. They're 1 foot by 1 foot squares, and they came in a pack of 10. So my first idea was to do a 2 by 4 grid on this door with the mirror tiles. Before I stuck these up, I had to make sure to line that cabinet door with the painter's tape as well. Once these tiles were up on the door, my next idea was to cover up the seams and the border with some black electrical tape, almost to create one of these window frame mirror situations that I'll put some examples of on the screen. I quickly realized that this mirror was not all that I thought it was going to turn out to be. Since the mirrors are bendable plastic and the door is not a completely flat surface, the reflection almost gave like a funhouse mirror effect, which is really not useful for the selfie moment I was looking to create. So that was a failure, and it was time for me to go back to the drawing board. For my second idea, I was planning to buy several of Dollar Tree's framed mirrors. I was hoping that that would help me achieve more of this window style mirror look. But of course, anytime that I go to Dollar Tree with the sole purpose of finding a certain product that I see on every other trip when I don't actually need it, I could not find these Dollar Tree mirrors anywhere. And I checked multiple Dollar Trees in my area. I was getting pretty bummed out, but I actually ended up going back to the same dollar store that I got the peel and stick wallpaper from, and I found these other framed mirrors that had this kind of colorful gold frame around all of them. So I knew I was going to have to spray paint them, which wasn't ideal for me. Anyways, I picked those up along with 2 Dollar Tree poster boards and a Dollar Tree over-the-door hook that I was hoping to use to turn this into an over-the-door mirror. I first cut my foam core boards down to the dimensions of my mirrors. I used construction strength adhesive to attach these mirrors to the poster board, which might seem a bit extreme, but again, I was taking my dog's safety into account. I also attached the over-the-door hook to the back of these poster boards with the same construction strength adhesive. I simply bent the hooks downward to make them straight and flush, and I attached both of the poster boards together with hot glue and wooden stir sticks. This would later come back to bite me because once I had let the construction adhesive dry, it was time to take this mirror outside to spray paint. I taped off all the mirrors to protect them from the paint, and then I took them outside to this back area in my apartment building where I spray painted them and allowed them to dry in the sun. Now, it's pretty hot here in LA during the summer, and by the time that the spray paint had dried and I was ready to take this back upstairs, the heat from the sun had melted the hot glue that was holding the poster boards together, so it immediately split apart. I was frustrated but determined, so I came back upstairs and I reattached the poster boards together using the same construction adhesive, allowed that to dry for another 24 hours. After a 3-day process, I was finally ready to hang this mirror up over the door, and once I got it up there, I hated it. It didn't look as high-end or seamless as I wanted it to. It looked like a bunch of mirrors glued to a poster board. So that was yet another idea down the drain. I finally decided that I needed to find a mirror that was lightweight enough to actually be able to hang on this door. But since this is a cabinet door, it's not as thick as like a typical door, so any existing over door mirrors were not going to cut it. I knew I was going to need a mirror with a wood frame so that I could screw the actual hardware into the mirror itself. Found someone on Facebook Marketplace selling this unfinished wood mirror for about $15. Pretty sure it's originally from IKEA, and it was super lightweight, so I wouldn't have to worry about it falling down. But now I needed a solution to be able to hang this mirror over this door and still make the AC unit accessible, and I found my solution in the form of these bunk bed ladder hooks from Amazon. They are the exact same thickness as this cabinet door, so it would create a nice flush hold. So I simply lined up the brackets with the top edge of the mirror, used 2 screws to attach them to the mirror itself, and just like that, this new full-length mirror was ready to hang over this door. I am going to leave the wood this raw wood color for now, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Should I paint the frame black? Should I stain it? Or should I leave the natural wood color? Let me know your thoughts. This was exactly the solution I was looking for. It's nice and long. It gives you a place to check your outfit. It reflects some more of that wallpaper as well as bounces light and makes the hallway feel bigger. And of course, you can stop and take a selfie in it with that nice wallpaper backdrop. This mirror took so much trial and error, but I'm so happy with the payoff, and I can rest assured knowing that this is a rental-friendly solution and knowing that my dog is going to be safe in his enclosure. Now, moving on to covering this unsightly renter-grade light fixture, and I wanted to create something very high-end looking without spending a lot of money that would also be eye-catching and draw your eye upward. Recently, while shopping at a 99-cent store, I found this pack of 4 bamboo placemats. It was only $5 for the pack of 4, and this gave me the idea to recreate something like these boho pendants that you see on screen right now. I had the idea to use some large embroidery hoops that I had in my craft stash. I am taking these bamboo placemats and one by one I am hot gluing them to the inside of this embroidery hoop. I used about 2.5 of these placemats to go entirely around the embroidery hoop before cutting it. When I cut the threads that were holding these placemats together, it does start to make the rest of the placemat unravel. So some of the bamboo sticks actually ended up coming out while I was gluing this together, but all I had to do was hot glue them back into place to fill in the gap. I then attached the second embroidery hoop to the top edge of the fixture, painting the embroidery hoops black to make them stand out against the natural wood. I wanted to finish the inside of the fixture as well to make it look more complete. My first solution was to use my black painter's tape from earlier and go around the inner perimeter of the shade, but only after a day of putting the shade up in the hallway, the painter's tape started to fall off. So the next day I ended up going to Michael's and picking up a roll of ribbon that was about the same thickness as the embroidery hoop, and I hot glued that ribbon to the inside of the shade, top and bottom. The shade was complete and it was now time to properly hang it up. At first I thought I was going to have to create some type of system to hang this around the existing light fixture, but when I went to test out the fit, it actually fit so snugly around the existing light fixture, which was very lucky for me. So I basically made sure that the shade was on nice and even, and that completed this light fixture. This turned out just like I imagined, and it definitely doesn't look like it was made out of an embroidery hoop and some placemats. This hallway makeover is nearly done, and the last thing I'm going to do is to add a floating shelf over that cabinet. This is the only part of this transformation that I consider to be not renter friendly, since I did have to actually drill those holes into the wall, but I can easily fill and paint those when we move out. Now, this was a shelf that we had in our stash for a while. It was plain white, but I simply covered it in some dollar store wood contact paper before hanging it up in our hallway and styling it with some lightweight decorative pieces. Alright you guys, it's finally time to reveal this completed hallway makeover. I'm very excited to finally show it off, so let's count it down in 3, 2, 1. Well, you guys, that is the completed hallway makeover. I am so pleased with the final result. This wallpaper is so stunning. I love the updated light fixture. I think the whole space has such a big impact. Now, to go over the total cost of the transformation, each roll of this wallpaper / contact paper was about $1.50 each, and I used 8 of them to cover both doors. I used 2 rolls of painter's tape to cover the doors, which cost about $7.50 a piece. The wood mirror that I got off of Facebook Marketplace cost me about $15. The hardware that I used to mount it over the cabinet was about $10. The pack of bamboo placemats that I used to create the pendant light cost about $5, and the ribbon that I used to finish off the inside edge of the pendant was about $3. I already had things like the shelf and all the decor in my stash. The embroidery hoops for the pendant light were also something I already had on hand. So my total cost to transform this hallway came out to about $61.33. So that's just a little over $50 to transform this entire hallway. Now, if you calculate in the cost of the 2 mirror prototypes that I first tried in this space, that makes it come out to about $114. But if you were to just cut out all of those mistakes, you could achieve a look similar to this for a little over $50, which I think is great, especially in the world we live in right now where everything is so expensive. But with just a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking, you can still pull off something really great that doesn't have to break your bank. And in addition to this space looking so much better, I'm also relieved to know that my dog Coco will still be able to rest in here and not be in any sort of danger of anything above him falling and breaking. Coco, look at the camera. Hello everybody. Do you like your new room? It looks so good. I love you so much. Alright you guys, well thank you so much for joining me for this hallway transformation. You can go now. Alright. Don't forget to let me know down in the comments below if you think I should paint, stain, or leave the wood mirror, and tell me what you think of the whole transformation. If you liked this video and want to see others like it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up to let me know. Also be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and ring the notification bell to be notified every time that I upload. You can also keep up with me on my social media. You can find those links down in the description below. But that about does it for today. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Kyian by Design, and I will see you next time. Bye!